with Ghostbusters 2, which was, I believe, an absolute hit.
Yeah.
We go into the troubled production of Ghostbusters Hellbent. Is it Hellbent?
Mm. Yeah. It was the subtitle Hellbent, yeah. Ghostbusters 3 Hellbent, yeah.
I've seen a few videos about it, and it seemed great to me. Like, really high concept. It's New York, but it's like a hellscape because they've crossed over, and then it didn't happen. Now I've heard it's all Bill Murray.
Well, yeah. The reason I started using the internet was Ghostbusters 3. I mean, the internet had been around a bit, and I was about 14. We had it in school. I was never interested in it. I was just like, no, MSN chatting, it just wasn't my thing. But yeah, I don't know where I found out, but yeah, there's rumours of Ghostbusters 3. So I go on the internet for the first time, and there was this really, really basic website called Mr. Stay Puft's World of Sounds. And thinking back now, it was just a website with clips of audio clips of the film, not in visual. Just you click on a button and a clip from the film would play. But it was it was the best thing in the world to me. That and it just had all this weird Ghostbusters content. But there was one page you clicked on, and it said Ghostbusters Hellbent, and they had this really basic image of a Statue of Liberty, but all the sky was red. And I thought that was actually a still from the third one. And my excitement went through the roof. I was like, oh, it's happening. And then there was a Ghostbusters, like a chat forum thing. And everybody in there would be talking about it. And I got convinced that it was happening. And yeah, I think they called it Manhattan was going to be the concept. So it was Manhattan just at a switch of a button or equipment, it switched into the hellish version of Manhattan. So I remember reading that and thinking that's a fantastic concept and all the rest. But even at 14, 15 and not being a movie producer, I thought that's going to cost too much, though, isn't it? And that was me worry.
Financial side.
I mean, and still am a very anxious and nervy person. And that was my immediate thought. They're not going to get the budget to do that. He's going to have to rewrite it. I really like the idea, but it's just going to cost it. In 1999, I think the Matrix was just about to come on. So, the technology wasn't there, and I was really worried about how they were going to achieve it. And I thought it's not going to happen. But yeah, I think a major reason was Bill Murray's refusal to do anything to do with it. Bill Murray hated and still hates Ghostbusters 2. He's so disappointed with how that turned out and was frustrated. I think that put him off majorly, the idea of doing anything else with it. So, yeah, apparently Sigourney Weaver said no as well. Whether they needed it or not, I don't really know. She'd had 2 massive supernatural events happen to her already. I don't think mentally she was going to cope with Manhattan turning into hell. She's already had a baby taken off her and being possessed by a dog. So, how much can one woman take? But they wouldn't have needed it. But obviously they need Bill Murray and his refusal to do it. I think the timing of it, mid to late 90s, might have worked, but I don't know. The longer it goes on, you're like, I don't know. I mean, the effects and stuff. I mean, the massive part of the first 2 films to me are the practical effects and those early sort of computer effects. The pterodogs and the mix of animatronics and really ropey CGI that lend a charm to it. The same with Ghostbusters 2. Some of the ghosts in that look really ropey. Some of them look quite good. But by 99, I think they would have started trying to we'll just CGI, and ended up look like Spawn or something like that. With the CGI, it's like PlayStation 1 stuff.
Yeah, or the End of Blaze.
The blood god at the end of Blade, yeah. No, it would have ended up like that, and it probably would have lost a lot of its charm. I think now is the perfect time to make the sequel, but we'll get into that shortly. But sorry, go on.
Sorry, yeah, no, I completely agree. If it would have been then, it wouldn't have worked. I think it had a specific. It had a certain window for the trilogy where it could all look very similar and coherent, and not a mishmash of different technologies from different times. Mm-hmm. And as soon as Bill Murray says no to that in the early 90s, then it's gone. Like you've missed your window, because technology, like you said, would have advanced to a certain degree, not for the better, obviously.
Yeah.
And everyone was leaning away from physical effects and going just CGI mad. So,
and that film would have been full of it. It would have had to have been to turn into hell, or it would have been full of it.
Yeah, it would have looked just a little bit more worse than the Star Wars prequel trilogy.
Yeah, that's not about the pounds or yeah. No, not the best idea. I mean, he had some of the ideas as well, like Oscar, baby Oscar from number 2 would be growing up and things like that. And I always thought, that's an okay enough idea. You know, already they were thinking about passing it on to the next generation and stuff. And there are bits of the script knocking about on the internet from that draft. Which, you read it and you're like, I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, it'll be the film that never was. And again, thinking from a producer's point of view as well, I'm worrying about the financial aspects. We're talking about Bill Murray not doing it, but you forget really with Bill Murray, he did Groundhog Day in '93 when his star was still quite high. And for me, that's his best performance, Groundhog Day, I think, from start to finish. That's peak Bill Murray. But after that, he dropped off. Nobody saw him, and I think he did a couple of flops. So by the time they're starting to think about Ghostbusters 3, it's like, is he a big enough? From a producer's point of view, from the marketing point of view, we've got Bill Murray, we've got. So I mean, probably the Ghostbusters name would have pushed it forward if but it was just everything was good. They had, I think, Ghostbusters 84, Ghostbusters 2, 89, and then I think you had 2, 3, maybe 4 years to make another one with that same sort of core group. But I think quite a few people were disappointed, not just fans, obviously, but people who made it. Even now, you get Ghostbusters 2 doesn't get the same love, even from the people who made them. You very rarely hear them talking about the second one. All the retro stuff, you got the art book, and it all just seems to be geared towards the first film. It's the first film that people want to get almost. DVD releases for a long, long time. You couldn't get Ghostbusters 2 on Blu-ray. It just didn't exist. We started including it now, but a lot of the time just pumping it in with the first one. It's a double set. You've got to buy the second one if you want this. So it didn't. It's never had the same love. So all that was in the minds, and I don't think 3 would have happened for a lot of reasons at the time.
But in a way, it's not like no one got to see 3. Didn't they turned it into a game, didn't they? So
the video game. It's not. They've Dan Aykroyd at the time was like, this is the third film. This is officially the sequel, and it's set in 1991. And it's like, amazingly, even Bill Murray lent his voice to the character. So it's all the same cast. And when they were treating us as a third film, it was all dead exciting. When I played the game, I was quite disappointed, to be honest, because it kind of felt like it's just, this is just picking up the legacy of the first film again. This is just, most of you're in the New York Public Library, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's, and it's like this is just picking leaning on the first film again. It's not really. It was like its own separate story in a way, but just not enough. And again, the second one was, apart from the painting of Vigo, which is in the firehouse in the game, and it talks to you, which is pretty cool. It wasn't. I wasn't buying it, and there was no alternative. There wasn't a hellscape. It wasn't that version.
Oh.
It was just like this own sort of. I think the mayor was possessed, and Gozer was back, and it just wasn't the film that he was planning at the time. That was great, and now I'm grateful for it, especially knowing that we're getting something else. So.